Hey everybody, I'm TJ Majors, spotter of the 6 Cup car. No Xfinity this last weekend, but I did have a truck, which I know Brett loves.
Trucks. I do love trucks. I didn't watch truck races.
You like what rhymes with trucks?
I like to watch them. I'm done spotting them.
Oh.
I retired.
So if someone says, Brett, spot a truck.
Uh-uh.
What do you
Clint
say?
said no.
Clint already asked.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
I politely declined.
Politely?
I said no.
He's already hitting the button.
Brett Griffin, spotter for Richard Childers Racing. I'm back at the racetrack this week after
You're coming to Indy?
I'm coming to Indy.
Jesus, that's
you
bad,
got a terrible
dude.
schedule, though. You work Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
You work all day
That's awful.
Saturday.
It's called a job.
My schedule's pretty easy.
It's a truck series. That's what the problem is.
Yeah, for a little bit on Saturday around noon, and then you're done till Sunday.
No, I
or-
work Friday evening. We got cup practice.
Oh,
What's the
that's right.
what
time?
is
I mean,
the
it's like
issue?
3
You're
o'clock.
already
Yeah, it's
in
at, like-
Indy.
What's the issue with what?
Would you rather make money than spend it?
Here's what I love about the Cup schedule this week. It only affects us, I would assume, but Cup practice
They
and
overlay.
truck practice basically overlay each other, and there are 2 different racetracks.
Yeah, the guy I'm spotting for is running both of those, so it's going to be curious.
Who you
I don't know if I could tell y'all. Has it
What
been
do you-
announced? It's Ty Dillon. I guess it'll be out by the time the show drops.
Probably.
If it's not, it is now.
What the hell's my name? Freddie Kraft, spotter for Bubba Wallace, Kyle Sieg, and Ty Dillon this week. Ty Dillon.
Has Ty Dillon hard to spot for?
Wait
It's
a
real
minute.
easy.
You guys are sharing
real
a
easy?
driver?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah,
You guys are sharing a driver?
we're sharing a driver. Is that?
Oh,
can you say
driver's
that?
wives over here again.
I have
Hi,
whoever
Casey.
sent us that post of Brett.
The picture
like
of Brett.
I didn't see it.
I
Oh
can't
my
get
God.
it. I
You didn't
can't
see
get it
it?
out of my head.
Oh my God, I got it right here. Hold on.
I didn't see it.
I mean, it might mess you up. I don't
It might ruin your day.
Can I
Or
get
no,
out
it
of
might
my
make
head?
his
I don't
day.
even know where
I
it
think it's going to
was.
make his day.
So somebody made me a woman? Is that what you're
Kinda.
saying?
Mate?
A mate.
Let
A
me
hot
see here.
mate.
Oh, this is me and SVG together? Dude, that's when I was skinnier than I am now.
See, well, you wanted to be a wife.
You want to be a hot wife?
I look pretty good.
No, you don't.
I don't know if that's the way I would describe it.
I look
but
like Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express.
Yes, exactly what you look like.
Yeah.
Anyways, we are back from the Tricky Triangle where Ryan Blaney gets his second one of the season, probably more to come this year with his track record. How was the race? Top 10s.
Yeah, we got a couple
I mean,
top
the race
tens.
was what I expected. I mean, guys it's a road course to me because you're gonna have some guys that take stage points. You're gonna have some guys that pit early because you can. There's we all know the certain time that you have to be within the leader to pit and not get lapped. And some of these guys timed it really close, but they were able to pit and come back out and trying to get some track position. And there was 2 different strategies, and you're hoping the caution falls at some point randomly on your strategy. And it didn't fall for us when we got the lead. We were going to run. We were actually in a good spot if it stays green because everyone was going to have to pit again, and we were going to pretty much stay the leader. But caution comes out, and we had to take more fuel, which then puts you back in the back half of the top 10, and you got to try to work your way back up, which we did a little bit. But man, that end of that race.
TJ, you're well aware of this. We can let the crowd in on this. TJ and Hirschman are the kings of.
All benefiting themselves.
Yeah, how are you going to help me
Yes.
do this? So he
Push
comes
me.
down to me on a restart. We're behind him. He's like, "Got to push me. Just push me. My car's fast. Got to push me."
Yeah, push.
And
You're
guess
here
what
to
happened to me? 4 spots I lost because like somebody in front of you who's at 19 or
Some
something.
guys hit like the 14 and 9 or something like that.
The
Like,
14. It was the 14 that went 3
we
wide
just- we
bottom.
go by the start finish line, and they're running into each other and wiggling and stuff, and it got down to 1, and I don't think it got pretty messy.
We
Not
just
Kyle Busch.
tried to do our deal. Like, all right, we're going to push
Yeah.
the 6 because the 6 is good. And guess what happened to me?
Yeah,
You kind of owe TJ a couple
TJ.
efforts.
Yeah,
Maybe,
I mean-
I owe Brad maybe. But
Last I checked, the scorecard's still heavily.
well, I
in
think
your
I got
favor.
one. I got one marked back in my column yesterday for being a nice guy and getting shuffled 3
Well, you
rows.
finished still, so that's different. That doesn't work. Most of the time, when you strike, we don't finish.
Yeah, like I don't know what it looked like on TV. It seemed to me like it was probably a very boring race to watch on television because that's Pocono. That's how it is. It's basically a road course.
Yeah, I mean, the question was who was going to pit win, who was going to take stage points. I mean, I feel like Gabe Hart kind of gave one away, going after a stage,
Well, you got 2
stage
playoff
win
points.
versus going after the race win. And I mean, look, Gabe Hart's one of the brightest guys in the garage. But, I mean, it just came down to strategy right up until Corey LaJoie dumped Kyle Busch, and then from there on, there were some things.
You're mistaken. Kyle blocked him 6 times.
Okay. Corey drove into him, and then he drove into him again.
Don't worry, we will talk about it later.
Know. So, but once that started, then it caution after caution. But I mean, it was a typical Pocono race. Nothing.
Well, let me tell you,
crazy.
If you compare the restarts in the beginning of the race, we go to turn 1, and it was like too wide the whole way there because people know that if you step out of line,
the bottom sucks.
Yeah. So, but the later you get into that race, that you're not
everybody's stepping out.
Everyone's stepping out and doing it, and that's when it gets bad.
Yeah, the first guy to step out on the first restart, I think, was Ross, and then from there on out, man, like you said, it got crazy. But those restarts are 4 and 5 wide. They're going away from you guys. Like, there's not a worse angle in the sport for spotters than that.
No. Oh, when they turn off into the corner and you think you're 3 wide, you're just like, gosh, I hope he knows.
Yeah.
Like you can't. I've told a story on here before. Bubba came up there and stood next to me when I was spot for Biffle, and like looked down there with me, see. And I was trying to spot, and you're like, and I stood up and he goes, "You're a liar." He's like, "You can't see anything down there." Like
when they go by the start,
I don't believe you anymore.
Coming to the 1 to go, I think we all say, "Hey, just so you know, when you get down to 1, when you get to about right here, we can't tell anymore."
And there was a handful of guys that had you didn't have a second guy yesterday, did you? Like I know Blaney did. Like Mule was down there for Timmy. I don't. It's such a hard drop point there. Like
your buddy was down there in the infield. The guy you made friends with Larry McGowan. He was down there.
Oh.
Your buddy.
Was he spotting? I don't know if he was
blocking
spotting.
somebody from seeing one or the other.
It was listen, track position was king. Whoever got the lead seemed to jump out to a 2-second lead pretty quick. Sounds like the traffic getting in and out of there was amazing.
It was amazing, all right. Like it was.
So I don't know. I know they said they had that storm. That storm hit.
That's lame.
Yeah. Well, so I got there before the storm.
So if I'm reading that thing right, they made their people that were working.
Yes.
There was a wreck. So there was a wreck out front for one on 115 there. The main road out front. So that I think diverted people to the way we always go, which is Stony Hollow or Long Pond. I was a mile from the racetrack, and it said an hour and 45 minutes.
So I was probably there before you, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, you usually get there when the sun rises.
No, I'm not Corelli. Or crazy.
I wish I was this week.
Yeah, no kidding. So we've stayed. Remember Louis is. We've stayed up that way a bunch. That's not where I stayed this time, but we've had houses up there, and we've left late before. And I've never really hit. We sit a little bit of traffic, like right, when you get ready to turn on the Long Pond. But I was in traffic before you even make the right onto whatever road that is that connects to Long Pond. And it was bad.
So the issue was because of the severe thunderstorms that occurred earlier that morning, and a few years ago when I think they were talking about it, there were lightning strikes.
This was the first place that I recall being at a sporting event, and it was outside of turn 3, and a fan was struck and killed by lightning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now
about 10 years ago,
they're taking precautions, which every track does, but they have to. All the staff have to seek shelter, and so do the police officers and everybody else who's managing traffic. So because of that,
last time I checked, every police officer has a car they can sit in.
Yeah. They were still working.
But they couldn't direct traffic.
Let me ask y'all this, and I don't mean to disrespect anybody when I ask this question. When is the last
Not
time?
trying to be a
When is the last time
Okay.
that you feel like the parking attendants made parking go faster?
I was just gonna say, when they went away, it probably picked up. Because
it cleared up a little bit.
The problem for us was the guys outside of the tunnel were
just making you go to a certain lane, then you get in that lane and it would jam up. I do feel like that was worse.
And listen, the weather was not good yesterday, and if you made people stop, but listen, for 2 or 3 years now, when we went to one date here, the crowd has been phenomenal. There's been a load of people.
Listen, they have a lot of stuff going on there too out there. They have a circus out there.
Yeah, and there's
a lot going on.
Like a circus. But since then, the traffic has been, and it's a hard place to go.
I bet you they got a new director of security, and he screwed the whole thing up.
It was It's always been bad. Like I was staying 20 minutes away, and I banked on an hour to get there. Like because traffic has always just kind of been.
But an hour is reasonable. If you can't get there in an hour.
I had a meeting at 12 o'clock. We left at 10. I was like, it's a 20-minute drive. It's probably gonna take us an hour. We parked by 11. We've got plenty of time. If I didn't.
Did you break the law?
No, I didn't. I was sitting in a car that broke the law. Nick Payne, which I might have talked to him. Nick Flicks. We might have discussed it. We went up the left side of Stony Hollow because it saved us an hour. Like literally, my ETA was 105. Did you put your
flashers on?
Yeah, we did. It looked important that way.
Yeah.
But we organized the group of us because like Joe White was back there and then Slugger was behind me. So I was like, if we all just go up this left lane, like they can't like get mad at everybody.
Yeah, they can. I've been in that situation.
So we
you started it too.
But it was literally we were a half a mile from Long Pond on Stony Hollow Drive or whatever that is. We were a half a mile from Long Pond. It said our ETA was 105. This is at like 11:30. We went up that and drove a half mile to Long Pond. And
Netflix had to be nervous.
And it was 12:05. Like we gained an hour just driving a half mile up the wrong side of the road.
Down the wrong side of the road. I did it at Talladega one time. Same deal. I was, within a mile of the racetrack, and we were sitting there dead stop, and I was like, I'm just going to venture on over here in this left lane. And I did. And I'm creeping. Me and my buddy Chris Dees, he was with me. And I creeped for about, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile. Cop jumps out in front of me. What the are you doing? Have you lost your mind? I was like, by now, other people have started to follow me. I said, there's a cop back there motioning for us to use this lane.
Which is a lie.
And then he was like, well, just get back over. And I was like, okay. But I did what you did. I made up a bunch of time.
You had to. Like, I would have missed my meeting. I would have been pushing an hour before the race to get there.
Yeah, I just hate fans miss the start. And that sucks. And listen, this is on Pocono. They got to get a better plan.
And to their credit, they did put out a statement there. If you were affected by it, they're going to try to make it right, which I don't know what they're going to do.
So if you just go to their website and fill out their feedback form.
A good problem to have.
No, it's not.
No.
If you got that.
It's obviously good that we have a lot of people there, but you have to do a better job.
The amount of people that come there to fill that grandstand.
When's the last time you missed the start of a sporting event because of traffic?
Well, I leave super early, though.
This wasn't because of traffic. This was a problem.
This was.
This was a Kentucky all over again.
Yeah, well, that's what Nick said. Nick's like, this must be the worst traffic ever. I was like, I'm pretty sure Kentucky tops.
I remember, I think Denny walked to the racetrack in Kentucky. But anyway.
I had a team, I don't even know what the hell his title is, team president. I seen him walking down the street yesterday, and he's like, I think they hired the people that did the first Texas race and the first Kentucky race to come here and get this lined up.
It does. To me, it should flow. When you go in the tunnel, most of the time they wave you to the right. If you have a credential, you go to the right lane. Well, they were making you go to the right, and then you still go there and stop. That lane should never stop moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You shouldn't have the car up there. Hey, am I at the right gate?
Well, like you, I don't even know. I didn't go at the front today, yesterday, so I don't know what it was like out front. But there should be like New Hampshire does a really good job of all the traffic is flowing into the racetrack when we're going, and then there's maybe one lane, but it's like 3 or 4 lanes.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was one lane going in up Long Pond, and there was a lane coming out. I'm like, well, who's leaving? Like it's an hour before the race. Like who's coming out of the tunnel to leave now? But it
definitely was worse than what I expected.
Yeah, it was bad.
Well, going back to racing, Xfinity and Truck Series race, again, I mean, Xfinity I feel like takes the cake, but Truck Series, what'd y'all think? I feel like there was some drama that we'll get to a little bit later, but on-track product.
Newsflash, Corey Heim and Christian Eckes happen to be very good.
And their trucks are very fast.
Well, I seen Trey Ryan share a tweet that was like two guys have led 51% of the laps this year.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
It's embarrassing if you're the rest of the field. Like I think if you're a crew chief and a driver in that series, you need to get off your ass.
Like what? I mean, these guys, it's not even a race.
This isn't Kyle Busch driving these trucks. I mean, they're talented guys. I'm not saying they're not good drivers.
That's exactly what I was saying. Could you imagine if Kyle was in them trucks? You know what I mean? Like, these guys are really good, but the trucks that they're driving, really good. I mean, congrats to.
But the thing that they have teammates. That's
what I was going to ask. So what's the solve, especially if their teammates are team as well?
I don't think necessarily. You can say. I mean, Jimmy Johnson would win 12 races a year, 10 races a year.
Oh yeah,
he had teammates too. You know what I mean? So
it's just we don't see this often. You know what I mean? There's no,
you don't.
and then I don't even know where to go. Like, who's the next step down? Majeski? You know what I mean? Like, I don't. Raja.
You see guys like you do quite frequently see Grant sneak up there, but he's never. It takes him the race to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Grant's he knows how to put together a race. It seems like the ThorSport trucks just don't have as much speed right now, is what they've had in the past. So usually they're right there.
Contending.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, if you'd asked me a couple years ago if the McAnally truck would be that, they've done a really good job.
Who's crew chief in those trucks?
Charles, I don't know how to say his last name. Denicky.
Nope.
I
don't even know.
He was there like at the end of the deal. He was Grant's crew chief when Grant was a GMS, and then Grant replaced him with Hensley. Probably I can't remember. And then Charles came over there like the second half of the year when I was spotting for Derek in the 19, and then he stayed on and I mean they took off. I mean that truck hauls those two. I mean, you say what you want. The two of them. They dominate the series.
That's a good point. Derek destroyed every truck they had.
Yeah, so they had to get a whole new. They had to get a whole new fleet.
Sorry, Derek.
So it's Derek gets credit for how fast they are.
Yeah.
Have we
a research and development program?
clearly? Have we heard anything around if they are remaining in the Truck Series next year and moving on?
I think Corey is going to remain in the Truck Series. So
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know for sure.
To me, he needs to move.
Where's he going to go?
Like, hopefully a good car.
Yeah, the problem is like that's
That's
great.
a hell of an outlook.
You are absolutely right. Unfortunately for him, I don't know that that's available.
Yeah, I don't know if Sam Hunt is. I don't
like Sam Hunt's got. He overachieves in that car at times and runs top 10, top 5. But what would you rather do? Win every Truck Series race or go run top 10 in the Sam Hunt car? Because I think that's his best option.
Double the money.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying charge double the money. Yeah. I was just saying, I don't think he's making double the money.
No. No, I mean, I don't know what his deal is in his Truck Series, but
I would be restructuring my bonus program.
Yeah.
So we talk about winning at all costs, and I think that makes the most sense for him.
To me, he's on the verge of, if you stay there too long, you start becoming that. You know what I mean? And then when you move up, you race differently. And he's young enough now and to where if he moves, I feel like he would adapt quick. But if that mentality of the Truck Series mentality is different.
Oh, yes.
And if you stay there too long, you kind of adapt that. And I don't know if you can ever get rid of it.
I mean, he's obviously, I think he's more than ready to go cup racing tomorrow. It's just, where are you going to go?
I think there's 5 or 6 guys that are ready to go cup racing tomorrow.
So
Yeah.
skip Xfinity?
From Austin Hill to Jesse Love to Chandler Smith to Sam Mayer to Corey Heim. Like there's probably more talent outside of the Cup Series that's cup ready right now, potentially than ever before.
I don't know if Jess. I think Jesse's on a great path. I think he's in a good Xfinity car. He's learning. He's faster every week, and he's still learning. I think he needs a good, solid couple years of Xfinity in a good car, and then go on.
The thing is, and you're working with Chandler now. Like, if you're advising somebody like Chandler, like, the Cup Series is the Cup Series, like the allure of going cup racing. But at the same time, do you want to just be a 25th place cup drive? Like, if you're going to get in something like John Hunter did it, when he got in that 38 car, he overachieved at the time for the 38 car, but nobody even knew he was out there really. Aside from us, whoever was talking about him, he goes back and dominates the Truck Series for a little while and wins races.
In the same scenario,
and he's right back to it. But now I'm sure. It's a better cup deal, I guarantee, than what he had then.
Yeah, I think the legacy thing, I wish somebody could really dive deep into why do they not have as much speed as we think they should have, because I think there's some disconnect.
Eric was fast this weekend.
On what they signed up for when they signed up for Toyota versus what they're getting.
I don't know. I think that they're getting exactly what they thought they were going to get. I
don't think so.
I do. I think that they knew.
I think I agree with Brett because I think they thought they'd be faster right now. I think.
I'm sure they thought they would be better, but they are getting, I think, what they were promised. It's not like they were promised something from Toyota. And listen, I don't know the inner workings of it, but they were never going to be a Gibbs. I think they were always going to be on their own little
have a hard
island.
time convincing me that Jimmy Johnson's going to make a lateral move to another manufacturer.
The thing is,
I would argue that they're maybe not as fast as they were.
Oh, 100%.
They were not as they're nowhere near as fast as they were last year when they were getting no. I'm sure they were getting no support from Chevy after they announced they were going to Toyota in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, Eric was much better.
I think Dave Ellens is a top 12 crew chief in the Cup Garage, and obviously, like you said, they had a good run yesterday. But in general, like man, they're lacking.
They're trying to put it together,
and I don't think they can publicly say what it is, but I think there's rumblings.
Trying to put it together.
Put it together.
But I think there's rumblings though. They're not. I don't know.
Oh, you've heard.
Tricky situation.
What,
I want to ask you one more thing.
What have you heard?
I heard a lot, but I'm not telling you. Stewart Haas Racing drivers, 3 are on the move. Brian Priest, what happens?
For Ryan, same thing that I think we talked about with everybody else.
Ryan will find a spot.
You got to go back and win somewhere. Like I mean, you could probably maybe hang on and get a place like Rick Ware or something. But
I think Ryan's in the Cup Series next year. I do.
Where?
I mean, I don't think he's going back Xfinity. I mean, I don't know. I just think
the problem is where do you go?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? The only thing there's a seated front row open. There's one there.
Let me ask you this: all this charter talk, which has kind of been quiet over the last couple of weeks compared to what it was. If NASCAR's all about a new manufacturer coming in here, which is why they did all this crap they've done, what are you going to do when a new manufacturer comes in and there's no charters available?
Well, I'm assuming you hope
But if you're a 36-car field and Honda walks in tomorrow and says, we want to field 4 teams 3 years from now, where are they going to get the charters from?
they're going to have to take over a team that's already existing, which they can't because it's going to be only 3 charters per organization.
Which, let's talk about that for a minute. All right. You're Hendrick and you have 4, right? You're Gibbs and you have 4. You're Stewart Haas Racing and you have 4. Stewart Haas says we're selling 3 of ours. All right. Who is in the driver's seat with the charters? In my mind, it's Penske because Penske has 3. The Wood Brothers have 1, and the Wood Brothers can expand to 3.
Yeah.
So now Penske can be in control of 6 charters.
Yeah. And
you heard of it? You mean you think of it like that?
Well, I mean, you could also say the same thing. And listen, I don't know any inner workings of my place, but Gibbs is no different.
But you're independent to more of a degree from Joe Gibbs Racing than the Wood Brothers are.
Are we?
No, I don't agree with that at all.
We have airspeed's amazing.
At least you got a building that's a functioning shop. I know Denny loves that word.
And Denny definitely wouldn't take stuff from fast cars and put it in his own cars over there. You know, he would never do that. They're definitely separate.
TJ is either the person
So you think
that
Gibbs is a 7-car team next year?
To me, 2311s is a Gibbs car, basically.
So you think they're a 7-car team next year, essentially?
Yeah, they could be if they get a charter. Yeah, could be.
Food for thought.
What?
I mean, everyone knows they work. I mean, there's no way they don't. All them crew chiefs, I'm sure, talk and.
Well, apparently there's meetings where all the drivers get together because there was an altercation recently.
I don't know.
Yeah. What happened there?
So what do you got, Casey? Anything new?
What? You don't want to talk about it?
I wasn't there. I don't know anything about it.
About what?
Speaking of altercations that I'd imagine might be more willing to talk about. You, Brett, you obviously work with Chandler now. What happened between him and Sam Mayer on Saturday?
He felt like.
Hold on.
Freddie's mad about something. He slammed his hand down.
I'm all about Chandler wanting to fight. You got to take your head sock off before you go yelling at somebody.
Yeah, his head sock on.
Yes.
They took his helmet off.
Yes, he had his helmet off and his head sock on.
Maybe he would look like a ninja.
How you can't be taken seriously when you're yelling at somebody with your head sock.
Ninjas wear head socks.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Do you think Chandler's got any ninja in him?
Do you think Chandler's legs? I don't even know what to compare him to. I really want Chandler and Parker Retzlaff to fight each other.
Oh my gosh!
It'd be the chicken leg fight of the century.
I told you, it looked like the strings on a ceiling fan swinging at each other.
I bet Chandler can squat more than you can.
His
leg will snap.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know about that.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
I doubt that.
What was your question, Casey? I forgot.
What did Chandler? What was his reasoning that he told you?
I think he was upset with how Sam was on his door trying to make him wreck for 3 laps. And, I talked to Chandler after the race, and that doesn't mean he's going to listen to me, but you got to let that stuff go, and you got to focus forward. And what you don't need to worry about at this point in the season when you're sitting there with the second most wins in the series of the guys that are running full time is what somebody else is doing. You got to worry about what you're doing. And it's easy to get upset. It's easy to get mad, but, hopefully he's got a clearer mind today than he did after the race. But listen, it's great that people are mad at each other. That's what makes this sport wonderful.
It's old Sam went in there and dumped SVG. Was it SVG?
Dude. Just ran over it.
Just ran right over
And then typical driver, I don't have no brakes. That's a lie. You stop the next time. So I love when drivers screw up and they're like, oh.
So what did Sam do to Chandler? Just
TJ would make a great driver.
what did he do? Race him hard?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
just-
I think he was on his door.
Yeah, he's on his door getting him loose. Driving like we're in a truck series.
It's like that kid that races the hell out of everybody in the back half of the Xfinity. What's his name? Tyler Young's guy.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
Honeyman.
Oh yeah.
I told Tyler, I'm like, this kid's gonna wreck your because when I say on your door for 25th, like every time you get around, he's on your door.
I got on him in Nashville about it. I'm like, do you want us both to wreck? Like for literally 25th of the time. I'd like not to have to say hold the brake and for and
So you have to tell your drivers, you have to talk them through crashing too.
Well, when you got a guy,
Put your head back.
You just lean your head back. All right, like
Is that still a thing?
Yeah. Probably. I mean, I don't know.
I'm asking for this
this
weekend.
week?
Yeah.
I don't
Because
know.
Indy and Pocono, you don't want to wreck there. Not that you want to wreck anywhere, but man, there ain't a slow place at Indianapolis.
And the angles we're gonna have this week are gonna be great.
Speaking of wrecks, did you see that IndyCar wreck?
Yeah.
Yesterday, I think you
The
sent
first
it,
one or
you
the
sent it
second
to me.
Those halo bars saved at least 2 lives, right?
I saw the one where the guy flipped and basically landed on his head. That guy, that was, and then the end of that clip that I saw, somebody
there's another
drives
wreck on the
right
inside.
over the top of a guy's head, basically. Like, thank God they put those bars in
That
place.
shows you how on edge those cars are because the guys behind it, they saw
I don't
the
even-
wreck up
Who
there.
was wrecking? I don't even know.
It was Carpenter.
Well, Stingray Rob was the guy that went
Stingray,
upside down.
and
What a name.
The
I know.
guy that Kirkwood, yes, Kirkwood.
So one of
All
them
at the end.
lose it off at 2 when they see the wreck by themselves. And they spin down to the bottom, and I guess a couple more did the same thing, and they just kind of met. And
Something happened to Rossi's
Ramped
car. That car had to slow. Ended up spinning,
Ramped it,
wrecking.
yeah.
Yep.
Who
But
won?
thankfully they willpower. Thankfully
Willpower.
they were all
He
well,
has.
he was
IndyCar
released from
drivers
the
have cooler
hospital.
names than our names.
They do. Stingray Rob, Willpower. Yeah, Willpower.
Stingray Rob. What a name. What's name?
What do you?
What's
Does
name
he have a
of-
middle name?
Is it Ray?
Or is that
Is
it?
it
Is that
Ray?
it?
It could be
Sting,
Ray.
Ray, Rob.
We call TJ Seahorse.
Seahorse Majors.
Call you Seabiscuit.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we will chat more Pocono with Spot On, Spot Off.
Summer's finally here. When I'm thinking of summer plans, it's hanging out by the pool, barbecuing on the grill, or best of all, sports.
From NASCAR races to baseball games, there's nothing like kicking back and catching a game with some buddies or the family.
FanDuel helps me keep up with the latest action in the sports world. All I have to do is open the app and make up any of the bets I'm in the mood for.
And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long.
So head over to FanDuel.com/DBC and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball.
21 and up and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanthegame.nc.gov. First topic. In silly season news, last week Spire Motorsports announced they've signed Cup Championship winning crew chief Rodney Childers to a multi-year deal starting next season, seeing him helm the number 7 team of Corey LaJoie. Spot on, spot off, Brett.
I'm spot on for Spire. You know, I don't think I've ever seen a team invest more into drivers, crew chiefs, spotters, crew guys in general than what they've done in the last 2 years. I mean, this is a team that we said on this show, it seems like 3 or 4 years ago, they didn't even have a car. They had charters and were just farming out everything, right? So to see the progress they've made is something unprecedented for me. Rodney Childers, probably the biggest crew chief free agent on the market. Very surprised that he ended up at Spire. There was rumors that he was going to Gibbs with Noah at one point. There was rumors that he was going with Josh to the 21, and for whatever reason, some of those things didn't pan out. And I feel like Rodney, to some degree, probably got to pick where he went, you would think. I think what's going to be interesting for me is I remember when Rodney walked in the garage with a Jasper crew shirt on. That was early 2000s maybe. And then I had an opportunity to work with him when we were at Evernham with Elliott Sadler. And probably the biggest thing that I think we all are going to have hanging over our heads here is he's never been in a crew chief situation at a high level without OEM support. And so what is that going to look like? I mean, I think when he was with Riggs at MBV or MB2 or whatever they call that place,
that was V.
He wasn't there long, and he and Riggs moved to Evernham together. And Evernham had, obviously, top-notch Dodge support. So I'll be curious to see, what he's able to do. And this puts a ton of pressure on Corey LaJoie. And obviously, as a race car driver, you want to know that your cars are going to be faster. You have to think Rodney's going to make them faster. But in my opinion, Hocevar runs, on average, 10 spots better than LaJoie does during a race. It seems like Hocevar's right around 15th, and Corey's, 8 to 10 spots worse. You ain't going to be able to do that with Rodney Childers as crew chief. So you're going to have to come up with a new hashtag, a new podcast name, because you can't say you're stacking pennies anymore. You better be stacking top 10s. And I think he's got like 9 in his career. 1 this year. You can't be at race 20-ish with Rodney Childers as your crew chief and have 1 top 10.
And I'm pretty sure none of them, everything's been at a drafting track, all his top 10s.
Very good at Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Should have won that race, whatever that was, last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I think.
And like to your point, Spire gets their guy. Listen, we talked about this last year. We're talking about spotters. Spire is doing whatever it takes to get the people they want. And you saw when they said, like Rodney said, these people are invested. Well, they're invested. They're paying top dollar for any position they want. And to your point, Corey's going to have a championship-winning crew chief, probably going to have a championship-winning spotter. And this is the best position Corey's ever been in. I ask you guys this, what is a successful season next year? They have to make the playoffs, right? I mean,
I don't think you have to make the playoffs, but you've got to bust off some top 10s, and you can't continue to just be completely irrelevant.
You better be in the ballpark of that final transfer spot if you don't have a win with Rodney Childers there. And if you're investing that much, that you have to be there. I mean, you might, and if you don't, I'm not saying you have to win, but you better be consistent. You better be in the talk of that spot, I think.
Where's Josh at? Is that what you're looking at?
No, I'm curious right now with what TJ just said. Is anybody inside of the playoff picture locked into the playoff picture that isn't OEM Tier 1 support?
No, probably not.
So I don't know why you think like that magic button's going to come.
I don't
think Rodney's that good?
I think Rodney's smart. I don't. It's going to be hard to have wins, but I do think Rodney knows how to put his guy in position. Look at Josh. He's put Josh in position this year. He was leading races. He's been leading races. He had a good track position this week. Got shuffled out in 1, I think, on a restart, but he was in the top 10. And I think Rodney's smart enough to call a good race to stack them solid. He's not going to get single-digit finishes, but he's the guy that can get the 10th to 15th area quite a bit.
I think he's got to have top 10s. I think he has to.
If you're not a playoff driver, you have to at least be the flagship of that company. I think. You can't have Carson outrunning you every week like he does now.
Hocevar has more top 10s. Oh, by the way, he's a rookie. He has a better average finish. He has more speed.
More fines.
And McDowell's going to come in there and do the same thing.
Sorry.
McDowell's going to run
too soon.
What'd you say?
More fines, too.
I think it's a huge hire for Spire. And I think it's a good thing for Rodney. And I heard that he could have been the general manager of multiple teams, and he didn't want to do that. He said point blank to me, I don't want everybody coming to me with their problems. That's what general managers deal with. I want to go out and still win races and compete to win races. So he's not going here to not win races.
No.
So and I hope he does win races. The question is Corey LaJoie ready? I can't talk.
Ready
to win races.
Yeah, man. Like to your point, like Rodney had options and he chose this one. So he believes in something over there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
On another Corey LaJoie topic, during a Stage 3 restart, Corey LaJoie was blocked by Kyle Busch going into Turn 1. LaJoie turned Busch when driving from the apron back onto the banking. When asked about the incident post-race, he said, "I'm sure he's mad. I'm sure there were guys that got caught up that were mad, but I didn't feel like it was a boneheaded move." Freddie, do you feel like this was a boneheaded move?
Unfortunately for Corey,
There's TV cameras.
There's an instant replay. Because I saw the one thing where he said he blocked me, then he blocked me again. Well, that didn't happen.
The second block didn't happen.
Yeah, there is no such thing as a second
block and a hook.
There was a block, and what happened was, and Kyle threw kind of a late block, and Corey,
but even the
Corey
first
ran
block,
into him.
Corey ran into him.
And I think probably thought he damaged his car, and because I mean he hit him pretty hard, and then he just shipped him. Like he just drove into his left rear into Turn 1 on a restart where we're already 17 wide, getting down in there. Like that's something you can't do.
No.
Like you can't do that because you're gonna wreck. I mean, how many guys got wrecked there? I know
At least
2 or 3
5 or 6
that got were knocked out of the race, and then there was 3 or 4 more that had damage. I know it took Stenhouse out, it took Priest out, it took obviously Kyle out.
Yeah, 21.
And the guy who starts
it's fine, drives right by,
drives off.
You just listen. I talked about this when this happened a couple weeks ago. How is that? Like you gave the Riggs kid a reckless driving penalty a couple weeks ago. I mean, it was something that went on for a couple laps, and he drove in the corner and turned. This is where that penalty needs to be applied again, I think, because this guy just recklessly goes in there, wipes Kyle Busch out, and then decides it just wrecks 6 other guys.
So when NASCAR goes to review this, TJ, is this something to look at SMT data? And
No. This looks like it looks like a racing incident to most, but I mean,
but
me,
you know it's not.
Well, I mean, I don't know what his intentions were. I know what it looks like.
You don't?
I mean, to me, he came back up and I don't know if he meant to hook him and take out all them cars, which I'm sure he didn't, but that was a reaction that he made at the time, and it got the other cars. But, I think when 2 guys are going at it for a couple laps and you can see it building, and then one guy just straight up wrecks the other guy, you have to probably.
But, I agree with you, but the only people that were affected in that wreck were Lane Riggs and Stephen Parsons because they were going at it. This guy drives in there, cleans him out, and wrecks 6 other guys for no reason.
Maybe he did mess up.
Oh, he messed up.
Maybe he messed up. Maybe.
Right.
It
was the second. It was the second block that did it.
It probably
I
didn't
know
help
what
that
it
the
was.
crew chief said he got what he deserved on
did
the
he?
radio, and yes, the broadcast covered it, but it wasn't Corey that said it. So
you can't do that. You cannot turn a guy into one on a restart at Pocono like intentionally, and it looked to me like it was intentional.
Maybe his cool shirt quit working.
Brett,
I think if it wasn't intentional, what was it?
An accident.
You misjudged something by that many feet.
what was the second block?
That's a lie. There was no second block. And the first block, I said it earlier, you ran into him. Here's who I feel bad for, and I never thought I'd say this. I feel legitimately bad for Kyle Busch. Could he have had a worse weekend?
It was not going well.
He had steering issues. Then he had oil leak. Then he gets dumped.
Lost his brakes in the race. They were having brake issues in the race, I think.
Like, there's some weekends you just want to have them back. That's a weekend where you never want to have back.
Trey.
You're like, let me move forward and focus on Indy. And I would bet that team shows up with a lot more speed at Indy without all the demons in the car. But Corey makes himself look really bad here. And his comments make him look worse, saying the second block, and the crew chief saying I don't know the crew chief.
yeah, but I mean, Corey
What's his
was the
name?
one driving.
Sparks.
Like if he said he got what he deserved, what did he deserve? He blocked you. You ran into him when he blocked you. I think he got what he deserved when you ran into him. And then did you get mad because you thought he messed up your nose when you ran into him? You ran into him, right? Do we all agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you dumped him
I
after
mean-
you ran into him. So I don't know if this were to go to trial, a jury would 100% convict Corey LaJoie of stacking Kyle Busch.
Stacking race cars in turn one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did Kyle get anything from Wilkesboro?
I don't think
I don't think
anything in race like this deserves a penalty. And I know there's differences of opinions on this, but for me, this is part of racing. This is part of NASCAR. If we want to police this like some of the other series, i.e. road course races or, whatever in Australia, like if we want to police it that way, then you got to come out and say it, because half of our fans are still hanging on to boys have at it. So if you're abandoning that philosophy and you're now going to have a system in place that says Lane Riggs shouldn't do this, Corey LaJoie shouldn't do this, Bubba Wallace shouldn't do this, like you got to come out and say it. You can't just start. I mean, you can. I remember back in the day.
Oh, they did last week.
I remember back in the day they'd sit you on pit road for 5 laps, or they'd put you on your lift gate for doing something stupid. But you kind of knew it. Now it's like we've abandoned that.
Well, that's my that's my issue. Is I'm not saying that Corey should have got a penalty, but a couple weeks ago you gave Riggs kid a penalty for reckless driving. This is one of the most reckless things you can do on the racetrack. It's like, so where do you draw the line? That's why I said they probably shouldn't have penalized that kid either. But it's just. I don't know.
I mean,
it's hard to be consistent.
It was close enough that it looked like Corey could have misjudged it. I'm just saying that if you didn't know, he
was lawyer.
I'm just saying, like when you got two guys that one guy runs another guy up in the corner, he just goes down there and sends you like Lane did. That's blatantly.
Oh,
obvious,
for sure. The Lane deal went on for 4 laps before that.
Yes.
But yeah, this it's just this can't happen.
Before we move on, and while we're on the topic of penalties, Freddie have to resurface last week with Bubba. Do you feel the penalty was fair for what he received?
No. I mean, I thought he should have got fined probably, if anything. At $50,000 is a lot of money for that. And when you go back and look, and I mean, Martin Truex had a demolition derby after Richmond, ran into Larson, ran into Denny. Like it's. Happens every week. We talked about it last week, and it's just, I mean, like Denny said, I agree with Denny. The reason why he got fined was it was the winner. The winner was on TV live when it happened. You're showing it when it happened. I don't know why that matters. It should be the same for everybody, but if there's a lot of backlash about it, obviously Bubba's going to always generate some kind of reaction on social media. So if that's what they were reacting to, so be it. I thought it probably should have been a fine. I don't know if $50,000 was the right number, but it's frustrating to see.
Can I say something right here?
Go ahead, buddy.
Why in the would you take off your seatbelts before you get to wherever you're going? I mean, that's like wearing a seatbelt for 95% of the ride. But then when you turn down your road and you got a mile left, you take your seatbelt off. It should be a rule that you have to stay buckled in until your car becomes parked on victory lane. I'm sick and tired of hearing about my belts were unbuckled. Well, stay the buckled up.
Was that
you the dumb that unbuckled your belts?
Did that happen?
Yeah, he was unbuckled.
But my point is,
he wrecked himself.
Any pilot that you've ever flown with, any pilot that you've ever flown with, how many times have you flown where you could see the pilots in an airplane?
I mean,
when do they unbuckle?
I don't know. Yeah, not until you're
I would assume when they stop.
When the plane stops and everybody's getting ready to get out. So stop unbuckling.
Listen, the guy that should be thanking somebody, Chase Elliott should thank, who was it, Hemrick? I think it was Hemrick that was behind Suarez when Chase pulled in front of him and locked the brakes up. And thank God Hemrick was paying attention and didn't just run straight in the back of Suarez when they stopped in front of him, because that's probably saved him $50,000.
Let me ask you this. If he slams the brakes in front of him and Daniel hits him, is there anything?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
What if he gives Chase a concussion when he hits him?
Well, he would have hit Suarez. But
well, I'm saying
that's why he brake check. Chase brake checks Suarez.
Yeah, I'm saying Daniel would have hit Suarez.
Yeah, but he's saying.
I'm saying if Daniel had hit Chase,
Daniel would have hit Chase. Yeah,
and Chase gets a concussion for brake checking him.
It's we get whatever.
I'm just tired of hearing about it was unbuckled. Well, you've been in the damn seatbelt for 4 hours. What's one more minute? That's exactly about how long it takes you to get back.
Yeah, probably a little bit.
This is I don't know. It happens every week after a race. Whether if you win, I mean, if we're racing, And I think I told Dale Jr., like, if I was racing, we were in the same race, and I won or he won, I'm going to go up there and run into him, like congratulating, because that's what a lot of guys do.
Bubba might have said that yesterday.
What?
Because his buddy won. And he's like, will they find me if I run into him?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I can see the upset. I would have been pretty upset if I got wrecked by a guy and he won the race as well. I'd want him to know my displeasure.
And I think Bubba made a point of it. Listen, there's no secret Bubba has struggled on road courses for a long time. And he's put in the work to get much better. And that he was having the best road course race of his life and gets wrecked, and that leads into it also. It's just, it is what it is. You're not going to change it, so there's no point in arguing about it.
Alex texts him. That makes it okay.
I thought that was hilarious, too. I texted him, tried to call him. Dude, he was 100 feet from you. Walk down there and talk to him.
I see like obviously people are irrational when it comes to Bubba sometimes.
People's irrational,
period. They're like, Bubba should have went down there and talked to him during the break. I'm like, what? Bubba will go down and say what? Like, you wrecked me? Like, shouldn't it be the other way around?
Yeah, I think,
Bowman's hot. Wins a race, third this week. Coming off 2 injuries, and listen, man, it takes time.
Chicago's the surprise. I would expect
coming off
Alex.
Concussion injury and the back injury, and here he is. It's like
I expected Alex to be good at Pocono. I mean, it's one of his best tracks. So, but the Chicago, it's a big win for him.
Yeah.
On the topic of Truck Series, the Truck Series race had a controversial mid-race rule change in the closing laps. With only 8 laps remaining, the red flag was displayed due to adverse weather conditions. The drivers returned to the race under caution, but only 2 laps later, another stoppage followed. Initially, NASCAR's decision was not to include these caution laps in the overall count. However, officials later declared that these laps would indeed count, effectively reducing the race to a mere 6 laps, resulting in a frenzied sprint to the checkered flag. TJ, spot on, spot off.
I forgot everything she just said.
That was a very long.
I know it.
We could have probably done that ourselves.
TJ should the caution laps account.
Basically,
we
should
crossed
the
the line. We crossed the line. The only thing they didn't do differently, they put us in our stalls, which they have been doing, but we still all crossed the line. Instead of lining them up before the start-finish line and covering them all up out there, now we're stopping in our stalls. To me, the laps should absolutely still count. You're still crossing a line. I mean, you're still running a lap.
They were in a I know I said on here last week that I hate changing the rules mid-race, and I think this one is. I think they got it right. At the end of the day, they got it right because you have guys.
You got to count.
You have guys that are stretching fuel.
Well, that was the thing.
And they're getting close to running out. Now you basically ran 2 laps that didn't count. I
can tell you who was right on the edge was Lambert's guy. I think Lambert was trying to hold court up there.
It was like, and this is coming from the NASCAR side of it. The teams asked for this. The teams asked to go to their pit boxes versus lining up on pit road, so you don't have to chase your car around. Whatever they like.
The driver, if it starts pouring, you can get out and they can get cover.
I honestly think you have to go back to that. If you're going to do this, because what the problem is, you go to your pit stall. Well, half the guys cross start finish line, half the guys don't. So now if we don't get restarted, like if you're counting these laps, like technically these guys are going to be ahead of the guys that are behind the pits, the start finish line. So they came up with the idea. All right, we're just not going to count this lap. Well, you can't do that. You still ran the lap. You ran the lap. Well, what happened was we ran a lap. Well, we were coming to pit road, so we ran a lap. They're like, all right, you got to come to pit road. So then we. All right, drive the track, whatever. We go back out. As soon as we go back out, it starts raining again. And they're like, okay, we're going to bring you back. We're not counting this lap either. So you're like, wait a minute. We just ran 2 laps of fuel. Yeah. That doesn't count? Like, how does this work?
Yeah, you got to count them. So if you cross the line.
I think that they just need to go back to what, like they did in Chicago. They did it in Chicago. We went red. We came down pit road. We stopped before the start-finish line, 2 by 2. I get it. It's easier for the teams if you go to pit box. But just to keep everything clear and everything uniform, I think you just go back to what we've always done and count the lap if we all cross.
Yeah, just count the lap. You can still put them in the pit stall. You know the running order.
Yeah, I guess
it's frozen. If the running order stays the same.
They did that in Chicago too, right? There was one time where they did that. They had them park in their pit stalls, and then they just ordered everyone by lineup to come down.
They called you up by your.
It could just be convoluted, I think. And I think it's the easiest way to do it is just line them up, roll them down pit road, stop them before the start finish line. And everybody's on the same page at that point. It's just I don't know. It's just, but they at the end of the day, they did the right thing by adding the laps back, I think.
Brett, you're awfully quiet. What do you
I
say
didn't.
about
Why
that?
are you ruining
I
it?
followed this on Twitter. I didn't see it live, and I think you have to. These guys are right. You cross start finish line, it's a lap. Common sense.
All right. Well, spot on, spot off. In stage 3, during a critical stop, Kyle Larson, Ty Gibbs, Chase Elliott, and Daniel Suarez were all hit with speeding penalties in Section 7 of pit road. Spot on, spot off. TJ again.
Spot on if you got track position from it.
Yeah, we gained 4 spots, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing.
So let
surprising.
me ask you this: we went pre-race roll, and the teams have this mapped out. They can tell you what sections are going to be hot.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, we have Section 13 as a notorious hot section at Pocono. So that was one we were talking about maybe changing lights. We roll our pit road, and Tyler, luckily for us, we qualified 80th. So Tyler was up front. Tyler ran pit road and slowed down for the Section 13. And we were like, we're just going to run through straight and see what it's like, what the lights look like. So we were close to speeding, but JR, our engineer, goes, Freddie, the whole field sped in Section 7. He said, I don't know what's changed, and that's I don't know what would change there. Mm-hmm. The lines aren't really moving, so I don't know what the difference is. But he's like, literally the whole field. He's like, I think all but 4 cars sped.
Was that an issue in the past?
No.
It was, but not in that section.
Yeah,
it was. There, I remember spotting a race for Jeff Burton and Pocono, and man, everybody was getting popped in that whatever Section 13 or whatever it was. So, what do you think it was?
I don't know.
You think they were speeding? Do you think the whole field sped in
something
Section 7?
changed.
Yeah,
something changed.
They were definitely speeding.
I mean, they sped. I mean, there's no. They time it. I think Denny ran. I saw a Lambert on the plane last night. Denny ran like 60.03 or something like that, which is 0.03 over. We changed our lights. We had to change your lights after the practice roll, and I don't know if these guys didn't change their lights or just didn't change their lights enough.
So to add context, Kyle Larson did tell Cliff Daniels on the radio that he never saw his blue light come on the dash. So maybe that goes to your point about not changing the lights.
Yeah,
when we say change lights, the lights in the car don't change. What we're telling our drivers, instead of I was 2 green, instead of 2 green, I ran 1 down the whole pit road just to be safe.
Yeah.
So whether it flashed real quick or not, or that's a issue that's their deal programming too. So
yeah, and it was ironic that it all happened basically at the same time.
Well, and I was asking if it's been historically an issue because Blaney was, I think, his pit stall was in Section 7.
Nah, that was just a coincidence. I saw somebody saying that he picked that to kill that zone, but nobody knew.
Yeah.
13 was the hot zone yesterday, and people probably picked in that section. I think it was like Truex and maybe the 99. I can't remember who else was over there. They probably picked that section because that's been a notorious hot zone, and that's what you try to do. If you have an area where it's a hot section, you try to kind of pick there or around there.
Well, first you go for the openings, openings, and so a lot of people like the first stall when you get to pit road, or which would have been 36, whatever they number them now down there. So
it's just I think it definitely caught everybody off guard before the race when we did the practice roll, and they're like, something's changed. Because everybody just sped in Section 7.
We did to back it down a lot.
Yeah, we changed our lights, and that doesn't that rarely happens where you get caught out like, something's different.
Probably 3 or 4 times a year you back it down a little bit.
But yeah, it was when they were. I forget we came off pit road and they're like, okay. Usually you hear it. Like 99 too fast exit. And you're like, okay, the following cars are speeding, and it was a list of cars. You're like, holy. What the hell happened? And then you're like, all Section 7. I was like, gotcha.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll tune to the phone lines and check out Reaction Theater.
Now it's time for our favorite segment, Reaction Theater, where it's your turn to be heard. Reaction Theater is brought to you every week by Consumer Cellular.
Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as leading carriers, but with plans as low as $20 a month.
And now for a limited time, get their best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. See ConsumerCellular.com for promotional details. Let's go to the calls.
So some people debate whether or not Pocono has 3 turns, 4 turns. Some people said 5 turns. And Pocono has, embraced this with the what turn 4 stickers, whatever you want to call it. Well, thinking of that opened up a massive can of turnworms that I never wanted to open.
Turnworms?
Turnworms?
If we base it off of how NASCAR actually does their turn counting,
Should be 6.
technically Pocono has 6 turns. And then when you go back and look at how Pocono was built, obviously the tunnel turn 2, or actually turn 4, 3 and 4, was based off Indianapolis. Even though Indianapolis technically only has 4 turns, if you count it how NASCAR does it, Indianapolis has 8 turns. And then that got me thinking more about the actual tri-ovals. Shouldn't Daytona, Kansas, Las Vegas, all them, don't they technically have 5? If you count the tri-oval? And if you're counting the entrance of the tri-oval and the exit,
Make it
then
stop.
don't they
Jesus Christ,
technically have
stop.
6?
Like, just stop. Like,
Freddie's face, though,
good
trying
Lord.
to figure it out, might have been.
I would leave it in
I
there,
wasn't
too,
trying to
but
figure it out. I was just hoping he stopped talking at some
Just-
point.
It's a 3-turn racetrack. Simple. Man.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry, y'all. I don't care what you say about this man anymore. It's time to have a real conversation about Corey LaJoie, or LaJoke, or LaFraud. I don't know what you want to call him now, bro. How is this man, still in the Cup Series? Bro, he's being outrun by his teammates. I mean, honestly, he's really being outrun by his teammates. He's causing all these issues. You can go back to last year at Pocono when he hit the wall, turn 1, lap 1, and destroyed his race. And now he's just hooking Kyle Busch in the middle. Why? Bro, I'm tired of this man. I'm sorry. Get him out of the seat. Replace him with almost anybody. Hey, put anybody else in that seat at this point, bro. I'm done with this man.
I'm getting the feeling he's not a Corey LaJoie fan.
I'm going to guess he likes Kyle Busch.
You think so?
Maybe.
I don't know who he likes. I can tell you who he doesn't like.
Yeah. LaFraud.
LaJoke, poor guy.
I just want to say, I think that race was kind of a snooze fest.
No.
But what I really want to call it out is the parking situation at this facility. Holy Moses on a rocket-powered pogo stick. I had to sit in 2.5-hour traffic, and I was only I got 2 miles away from the track. Do you believe that? That's crazy. And then on the way home, the traffic jam. Nobody wanted to let anybody go. Everybody was so rude.
He's yelling.
Yeah, I don't hope he's better today.
Yeah, hopefully he's not still there.
I don't think he was there.
You think he just read that?
I think he read it on Twitter and made it up.
Yeah, it's possible. All right, listen, this is a shout out to all the DBC fans in the world. You guys are letting us down with Reaction Theater lately. We're gonna need some better calls. This is we need to do better.
I thought last week was pretty good.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, you were wrong.
I got a news flash, too, by the way. Pocono, every time we go to Pocono,
yeah.
I mean, it's a fuel mileage strategy race. And thankfully, we have stages that make it that way, because if we didn't have stages.
See, I disagree with you. I don't like stages there.
Why?
I mean,
well, it's the same as
Denny
road courses.
Hamlin didn't win the race because he had to stay out, or elected to stay out to win a stage. And I am of the belief that at certain places we should pay the points and just keep going. And I know we tried it at road courses and it didn't work there, but for me, man, like Pocono, Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, and I get it. We got to stop for TV, but TV's going to stop anyway.
We're going to just stop.
I had to laugh last week. Dale's show, you were there. McDowell put out in some press conference somewhere that he said that they should remove stages, and Dale's like, I don't understand why he thinks that. That's because he won Indy without stages.
I think you're just glazing Denny right now.
That might have been it.
So, but now we're down to the final 5 races before the playoffs. Do you see strategy with the stages becoming more of an issue for people who are either on the cut line or?
Listen, Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace, and Chris Buescher, they need stage points, and they need them bad.
You know how many points we got combined stage points yesterday between the three of us?
How many?
0.
And just think if you'd have gotten 7 in each stage.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you have to, in some cases, decide if you want the stage points or the race win, right? So
yeah, but
that's
where
the
they're
thing.
at.
And if your car is fast enough and you do take the stage win and you get back in the soup a little bit, it's harder to get out. But that's what makes it.
The thing is, like, you chase. You know, it's easy to say, you go, all right, we just got to stay out here and get stage points. Well, okay, great. You stay out, you know, people are flipping the stage. You stay out and you get 6 stage points. Well, if staying out and getting 6 stage points causes you to finish 10 positions worse in the race, well, that's a -4. You know what I mean? Like that's.
But I mean, if you get the stage points and you get a good restart, and you
but
get
I'm
a
just
few of them
saying,
back,
if you trade off, you know, sometimes people get caught up chasing stage points, and they forfeit. You know, whatever the positions are in the race itself. Like,
so it makes it exciting though, because the guys that pit before the end of the stage, they come down, and obviously the guys that run it out, they have a little bit better tires. You know, if you're leading the race like Denny, and you feel like you might have the best car, and you stay out and get the stage win, and come back out, you're restarting 8th. He's going to be aggressive. He wants to get back up there, and I think if you don't have stages at Pocono, holy cow. I mean,
we used to have a 500-mile race there twice a year with no stages.
Remember those days?
I do.
And the 2 races were what, like
a month apart at one point. Literally,
yeah.
We would go to Pocono. 3 weeks later, we're going to Pocono again.
Yeah, and the same conversations came up after that too, though. Like, hey, how was the race? Well, I mean, it's just how Pocono is. I mean, it races like a road course because it's so big and you can pit without getting lapped.
Well, don't forget, if you want to leave us an audio message, maybe some exciting ones, call our number 704-802-9572.
Consumer Cellular is the official wireless partner of Brett Keselowski, RFK Racing, and the number 6 car. If they can count on Consumer Cellular, you can too.
Brad Keselowski and RFK Racing know speed, and that's just what you get with Consumer Cellular.
Consumer Cellular has award-winning, 100% U.S.-based customer service centers, so you can always get the help that you need. It's like having your pit crew right when you need them.
Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as the leading carriers, but with plans starting as low as $20 a month. There are no activation fees and no contracts. Consumer Cellular customers stay because they want to, not because they have to. They don't need to trap their customers.
You can even try Consumer Cellular for 30 days risk-free. If you don't love it, cancel it. But we'll bet you love it.
And now for a limited time, get their best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of free service. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. See consumercellular.com for promotional details.
Moving on to Ask DBC. This first question is from Nathan. With the return of the oval at Indy, what is your favorite racing moment of all time at the Brickyard?
That when Timmy threw that sandwich.
Sandwich game.
We don't have to worry about that anymore.
That was something. Yeah, they won't let us on the pagoda now. They put us in.
I think Raj took over.
They put us in the crappy.
I think Raj turned that into his own personal
condo or something.
suite or something.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him.
I mean, it's hard.
It's
It's hard not to give credit to the first year we went up there. I think it was '94. I think Jeff Gordon won. Rick Mass maybe sat on a pole. Like, just going there as a fan is unique. And I've never been anywhere where when you push a car out to qualify and you roll through Gasoline Alley, 220,000 people would start clapping. And for some reason, when we went to the road course versus the oval, it just lost its buzz. And I know that attendance was down, but it just didn't feel like Indy when we went up there and ran the road course. So I'm excited to be back on the oval. I don't know what the racing is going to be like. I don't think it's going to be the thrill of a lifetime, but we don't know. It may be one of the best races we've ever seen in our lives.
It might be like Pocono with stages.
That's what it's going to be.
With stages, you're going to have guys. Do you go for the win or do you go for the...
At Indy, I'm going for the win.
Well, yeah, especially if
I'm winning the Brickyard.
If you're a top 3 car, and I'm going for the win.
Well, let's go back to Nathan's question. Favorite moment of all time so far?
I think when Tony won was a big deal.
Climb the fence. That was a big deal. Yeah.
Mine personally is probably
something to do with you, I'm sure.
getting.
Yeah, my favorite was when I won with AJ Allmendinger and I got to kiss the bricks.
But that was the road course, though.
I know, but it was me.
It wasn't the bricks.
I did it.
It didn't count. It was the road course. I'd probably say
just that was Dale Jr. run 12th one day.
No, the race. You're gonna sound like a jerk here in a second.
I always sound like a jerk. Dude.
For Jeff subbed for Dale Jr. and him and Tony did that deal at the end.
Oh, when they made a lap round together.
Yeah.
That was Tony's last race, right?
Yeah,
There.
yeah.
It was his last
and
year.
Jeff's too. So to see them kind of ride around there and to
That was cool.
do that race with Jeff there was pretty neat.
Very cool.
Dale Jarrett went in there was cool. I don't know, man. There's a lot of cool wins there.
I can remember the drivers that win the oval race there quicker than I can remember the guys that won the road course race.
Well,
there.
I mean, you look at a kid like Briscoe won the road course race there,
Yeah.
and he got out in victory lane and said, "I always dreamed of winning here,
yeah,
but it's the road course." You know, like it. You could tell in that interview it took away from the fact that he won at Indy because he won on the road course. I mean, it's still Indy, but
you know,
it's-
this brings it back to definitely more of a prestigious race, in my opinion. Like if you win the Brickyard at the big track, you're doing like it's just to me it means more.
Amazing weather this weekend. 80 degrees all weekend.
It was
Okay,
hot
let's maybe
yesterday.
don't
Jesus.
bring that up because
Jesus Christ, is it going to rain again by any chance? Like we're
Yeah, but there's a
working
chance
on
on
like
Sunday.
12 weeks in a row or something.
Odds are, and Indy dries quick too. It's a small place.
I'm sure. What's
We'll
what
just
time's
run
the
away
race
weather
start?
tires. We'll be fine.
What
Fine.
time? What time's the
Fine.
race start?
2:30, right?
Yeah, I think Eastern. No, local.
2:45 local, and that is Eastern as well.
I was going to say it's the
They
same
did it,
place.
yeah.
It's one in the
I
same.
don't
Yes,
know. I don't know
yeah.
why. Oh, it is. Yeah.
Geography's hard.
Time
Well,
zones.
what
are-
an idiot.
okay.
Time
Brett.
zones are hard.
This next one is from Maddie. Does Todd Gilliland finish above Kyle Busch in points in the regular season?
No.
Where they at?
Right now, Busch is only 25 up on him.
He's had 5 of the 7 worst weeks of his life, and it has to turn around. at
Trey
some
Ryan
point.
said us. What was it like? It was 4 out of 5 weeks, the first time in his career that he DNF'd, and now we're up to, like you said, 5 out of 7. These
I
guys,
mean, even
snake bitten.
he ran like a super late model and something happened, but he did win at Millbridge. So I mean, maybe his luck will
thank
turn
God.
around.
Oh, yeah. That makes a
The
difference.
answer to the question, no, I don't think. I mean, it's tight. And if Kyle keeps wrecking every week, yeah, it's going to be easy for Todd, which Todd had wrecked yesterday. We're going to have Todd on here pretty soon to talk about some stuff like that. But, yeah, it's I don't think he beats him in points.
I think it's tough. Although the way Kyle's season's going, every week I'm like, this is the week Kyle rebounds.
Do you
man.
think? Do you think it'd be satisfying for Todd to beat Kyle in points? Remember that? Remember that exchange on the radio when Todd won and
Oh yeah. When he got so upset that he had won.
stay in your what do you say? Stay in your bus or something like that.
Yeah.
Next one is from Todd. Really enjoyed the portion
Gilliland?
of the broadcast. Yeah. Really enjoyed the portion of the broadcast where they showed Ryan Blaney's spotter, Tim Fidua, spotting. With all that talking going on, are the microphones voice activated or do you have to mash a button every single time? And who gets to override who if a crew chief and a spotter talk at the same time?
They are not voice activated.
Thank
thankfully.
God they're
Oh,
not
my
voice
gosh.
activated. No, we push a button every time, and nobody overrides
You have
each
different
other.
channels.
So
Yeah.
but I'm saying if the crew chief and the spotter talk on channel one at the same time, it's you
Yeah.
can't understand anything anybody's saying. So we do have a channel to talk to the crew chief, and then a channel to talk to the driver.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, thankfully, no, they are not
Holy
voice
cow.
activated. Thank God.
I mean, it would make
Oh,
for
God.
some great
You know,
content.
you know how mad Dale Jr. would be at me? We probably wouldn't even be friends.
I don't have an idiot this week. I don't know if I got it.
You don't?
I don't think so.
After sitting in traffic for that long?
I do have an idiot. I changed my mind.
Who's your idiot? Are we at what an
Oh, we
idiot?
kicked it. Have you kicked it off yet? I don't remember.
Yeah, we're still rolling.
Who's your idiot?
So my idiot is the guy. So as I was breaking the law, running up the left lane that I shouldn't have been doing, we're getting flipped off
But
by.
it wasn't really you.
It wasn't me. It was Nick.
Yeah.
Nick Flicks.
Nick Flicks.
Some idiot. Yeah, like I love these people. Like you see it on the road. You know, like if there's a lane closed, like one truck is going to move over and block the lane that's closed, like for a mile. This guy, we were coming up the lane, and this guy took a chair out of the back of his truck and sat in the lane that we were running up. And I was like, "Look at this idiot."
Maybe he was protesting.
He was not happy about it. We just and to ruin his day even more, he forgot there was a shoulder apparently. So we just drove around him while he sat in the road. He's flipping us off.
Maybe he just likes to watch traffic.
He might have been a traffic watcher. I don't know what his deal was, but he was an idiot for sure.
Anybody else?
No idiot, Brett. You
Light
got
week?
some.
Well, I mean, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about on the pre-race, or pre-show rather, where you got these dumb security guards that are telling ladies to smile and won't let them in the garages to do their jobs. That guy should be fired.
There's a few of them. It
Just
happens
like
a lot.
this
No
is,
woman wants to be looked at and
Yes.
said, smile.
Or I won't let you through.
Or you
until
can't come
smile.
through here despite the fact that you have credentials. Like, stop being a loser.
I talked to somebody yesterday. I don't want to say her name because I don't know if she wants to be mentioned. But like she said that there's a gate between the Cup garage and the Xfinity garage, and the guard stopped her every time that she walked through. Oh, you can't come in here. Like, I mean, he's obviously I'm assuming he's trying to be flirty. Whatever.
I'm sure that's going to work.
It
But-
doesn't work.
Are you sure? I think it's 100%.
It doesn't work. It just
I
makes
can't,
you
I can't
really
believe she didn't
frustrated.
drop her number off right at the gate.
I
when-
mean, honestly, if we walked around smiling the entire time, wouldn't that be creepy?
no, I want to see.
Like, if you're
why aren't
trying
you
to
smiling
get-
right now? Actually, I mean, Jesus.
Why aren't you smiling right now?
No, why aren't you? It's not my job to smile. It's your job to smile.
Okay, great.
Nobody tells me to smile at the racetrack.
Valid.
What if the next time somebody tells you to smile, Casey, you just say, go yourself?
I unfortunately am too nice to say it.
That's bull.
I
those
think
many words.
that's my advice to all you ladies out there. If somebody says smile, you say, go yourself. Because then what's that guy going to say back to that? He ain't going to tell you to smile again.
Yeah, but it's not like,
And if he says it again, you kick him in the balls.
again, too nice. But
That might be going across the line. I think that's illegal.
I might lose my job.
You know
But-
who's smiling?
You have a job?
You know who's smiling?
Hopefully.
Casey's nanny, because you're going to get a pay raise here in a couple weeks.
What do you mean?
Yeah, let's talk about your nanny for a minute.
You got a nanny?
The show that you missed.
Oh, yeah, we
Just so
touched.
happens that leading into that show, I ran into your nanny at the pool. And she was telling me some nanny stories. And so I
you get good stories?
Oh, yeah. I just can't believe that Casey works part-time and has a full-time nanny.
What?
She's going to kick your ass.
Just smiling.
Casey,
I'm
She's
quick-
smiling.
Casey, take Brett's advice. What are you going to say to him? Go.
I don't have a full-time nanny,
Uh-oh.
for the record.
Oh,
That
boy.
lady lied to you.
Here we go. Yeah, which one's lying?
She is like her grandmother to us. She is a family
That doesn't
friend.
matter.
And
doesn't make
you
a
are an
difference.
No.
I'm when
She's
you
getting ready
have
to climb
a
over this
significant
table.
other that travels every week.
How many kids do you have right now?
1.5. 1 3/4.
What are you going to do when you have two? You're going to have two nannies?
No, one she can make more.
Wait, I wasn't paying attention. What happened?
I said when she has two kids, now she's going to need two nannies. Right?
What, man-to-man defense?
Yeah.
Or does the half nanny become the full nanny?
I like don't even I am way too pregnant to have to deal with this conversation right now.
Same.
All right, fine. Send the nanny in.
Well, she's with her right now, but she's like her
Oh, of course she
grandmother.
is. Why wouldn't she be? It's what the nannies do,
I
right?
literally hate you. It is hot. I want a snow cone and I want Jimmy
snow
John's.
cone?
Yes.
Snow cone, Buffalo Wild
And
Wings,
Jimmy
salsa.
John's.
Oh,
That-
Jimmy John's.
I can't have Jimmy John's and I cannot wait to
You
have
can't
it.
have Jimmy John's?
Cannot.
Why not?
Deli
Because you
meat.
can't have
Yeah,
deli
deli
meat when you're pregnant.
So for the
I've been
record,
eating-
ass.
I've
I
been-
work a lot. My husband is gone. I've cleaned out the garage, cleaned out all of our rooms. I've done all of it myself. Don't be a jerk.
Who watched the kid when you did
There's a mass murder at, what the hell's our address? I can't remember.
So you going to Indy?
I can't travel anymore.
Why not?
Baby watch.
Yeah.
Well, I think after this week on baby watch.
Baby watch it. It's like a month, 2 months. No, a month, right?
You're gonna tell me 2 months left?
No, it's a month, right?
Oh, there's
Because
no
it's-
way. There's no
it's-
way there's 2 months
it's
left.
like- it's right around my
it's a
birthday.
month, but they say 36 weeks on, you can pretty much have the baby anytime. So hopefully it won't happen because Chad is still traveling. So
Chad, big milestone for Chad.
yes,
I saw that the other day.
38 wins.
38
he
wins
was
as a
mad he
car
didn't get
owner.
to 40, but hopefully he
I
has
got
a
news
few.
for you. He's probably going to get to 40.
I hope so.
I hope he gets to 100.
I would love for him to get the championship.
It's amazing what he can do while getting at by Casey. I mean, it's amazing.
I saw that tweet. I'm telling you, he travels more, and he
Why do you
ignores
think
me.
he travels more, Casey? It's like take a hint.
I know, and that's fine. Don't call me out for having a
Somebody
nanny.
asked me one time. They were like, "Say, what do you do?" Whatever we're talking about. I was like, "Yeah, I'm gone." I don't know. Like the time this was like back before COVID, so we were gone like 160 days a year or something like that. And they're like, "How do you do it? Like, how do you guys stay together and not see each other?" I'm like, "How the do you do it when you see each other every day?" Like,
I'll bet Chad can. I bet he can do this with his eyes closed. Decline, custom message, real busy, call you back. Then they'd be like,
He at least has it down. He texts me one time a day that says, "Hope you're having a great day. Love you." And then my response is, "What do you want for dinner?"
Can you schedule texts?
It's usually around 11:30. Like we can mark it 11:30. He'll send it to me when he's at lunch with his friends, and then
They're not his friends. They're his employees. I've seen him at lunch. It's a working lunch. Burrito Loco, Big Al's, multiple times I've seen it.
Is Billy there?
Billy's there some, yeah.
Billy's the
Okay.
best.
But Casey says he's just off with his friends while she's off with her nanny.
I hate you. And I'm over there. What do you want for dinner so I can cook it?
So you do cook dinner?
What do
You don't have a chef?
Okay, we're gonna move on from what an idiot because I feel like
It's a fair question.
all three of them
Do
are
you have a
idiots.
nanny?
Yeah,
Wait,
what-
TJ,
does the-
do you have a nanny?
Does the nanny
No.
cook?
No.
Wait, maybe the nanny
Never.
cooks.
I was the nanny.
TJ
TJ
was
babysits his
home.
own kids.
I was the nanny.
Yeah, he travels on the weekend. Chad works during
And
the
I-
week and travels on the
I
weekend.
took care of him all week too. No nanny.
Wow.
I was the
babysit.
nanny.
I babysit
Way
Brett.
to parent, TJ.
I
I'm
do.
proud of you.
Listen, I'm telling you, scariest day of my life. It's the first day I was left home alone with Madeline. I was sitting there like,
Yeah, you're still scared about it.
what? Yeah, what do you do now? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Anyways,
Pray they
So
don't
I've
poop.
I've probably changed more diapers than Casey.
You've definitely changed more than
well,
me.
you have more kids.
I guarantee you change more than Brett.
I don't do poop
I was gonna
diapers.
say, have you?
Okay,
when was
so
the last time you
look
changed
who's
this diaper?
You call me out.
I don't do poop.
We're
Last
gonna
time I
move
changed
on.
the
An
diaper.
idiot because this is not.
I mean, Bodie's what 10,
child.
11 now. Like,
Hey, first of all, we missed this. We didn't go into. We don't need to go into a lot of detail about last week, but these two, they had a problem.
listen, we can tell that story on here.
This is
So
bad.
we're in the shout out to Julie for getting us amazing tickets to the Cubs game. So it came with access to
No
the
toilet paper.
Maker's Mark Barrel Room or whatever, which is a bar.
Yeah.
You can get all kind of great food.
Amazing experience.
Yes. I ran into an issue where I had to use the
With
bathroom.
no tissue.
So
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this.
So we're going, and Brett is a little squeak. Brett has to go to the bathroom 5 times a day. At
I have
least.
irritable bowel syndrome.
So we're doing a video, and if you ever watch a Cubs game, they do that "Go Cubs Go" song thing. So Herm is videoing as they run through this room with flags, and as we're watching, there's a guy throwing up. Like he's running through the room throwing up,
Yeah.
and he dips into the bathroom. So I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and Brett's like, I wouldn't go in there if I was you. That guy probably puked all over everything. And I was like, well, I don't really have a choice. So I went in there. So in my haste, I sit down and there's no toilet paper. So I text Brett and I go, good news is the bathrooms are still clean. The guy didn't puke on everything. Bad news is you're going to have to, when you get in here, you're going to have to throw me the toilet paper from the other stall. 2 minutes later, I hear shuffling. Brett comes running in, sits down next to me, reads my text as he's sitting down and goes, there's no toilet paper in here either. So now we're in the only 2 stalls. Nobody's got toilet paper. We're yelling to baseball fans outside. I'm like, could somebody please throw us a paper towel or something? Herm's out. I don't know what was going on out there. You were out there.
Somebody come out and said Brett and Freddie are stuck in the bathroom and they don't have any toilet paper. And this guy comes out and gets like these hand towels and goes back in there.
I'm going to pass
And
out.
someone they almost grabbed a handful of the Clorox wipes and set them in there.
Oh, that would have not been ideal. That would have been a bad deal.
Oh my gosh.
Just the moment of Brett sitting down going, I don't got toilet paper in here either. I was like, oh, we're in trouble.
And then the guy come walking out and everyone's like, not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah, that guy is my wood of genius forever.
Oh my gosh.
He's lifesaver.
You should have just
That's
let
what
them
last
in
week when
there.
I said we go to the bathroom together. That's what I was referring to.
Just
Oh man.
let
Yeah.
them in there.
It was fun.
Okay, DBC picks.
Oh,
Did you
Thank
win,
you,
Casey?
Denny. Thank you. It was close there at the end.
It
But
was
thank
close.
you, Denny.
there will be nobody more prepared than Denny Hamlin this weekend. This is on his bucket list as a must-win. Back at the Oval, he's got, 2-3 shots most left. He's going to be on his game this weekend for all
Denny
you fantasy
screwed me.
players.
Then he screwed me by
Did he?
passing Alex there at the end.
Did you have Bowman? Oh, that's
I
Yeah,
know
bummer.
that was my issue. Too close. But we are taking picks for the oval.
We are pretty much all out of drivers.
Brett, you go first.
Chase Elliott.
And you still got
Freddie.
Chase Elliott? You sure? I don't know who the hell I want to pick this week. I'll take Eric Jones. I lied. I'm taking Josh Berry.
Oh, switching it up. Oh, boy. I am going to take...
Casey's got a grin on right now. Like it doesn't matter
She's
who
got
we
somebody.
take. She's
She's
going to
probably
win.
got somebody we
No,
can't
I, don't,
lose.
I actually don't.
She's still texting Mapes right now, trying to
We
figure out
don't
who to
have.
pick.
Oh, we established that yesterday.
I'm
I
going to take
don't blame you.
Logano.
Okay.
Because if he wins, I win. And if I jinx him
You
and
don't
he has a
care.
problem, it's fine. Just saying.
Still bitter, huh?
I'm just saying, like, I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying,
Yes,
if
you
I,
do,
like,
you lying mother.
I feel like it's a good call because they've been, like, piecing together solid finishes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Right.
Casey, who you got?
I will take Chase Briscoe at his home track.
Man, I feel pretty good about my chances this week after hearing y'all's picks.
Who'd you
Chase
pick?
Elliott.
Yeah, I think you probably get it.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, we talked a little bit about the oval, Brickyard. What can we expect on track?
Impossible to pass.
Yes, I think you're gonna have to temper your expectations. I don't think this is gonna be the best race of the year, but you have to trade that off for the fact that we're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Like the road
Yeah.
course race wasn't much better.
It
Like,
might be. I mean, with these long straightaways, man. I mean, and you get two cars together, it could be like a Pocono front stretch where you can get a big run on somebody, and restarts are going to be insane.
And way more narrow.
Yeah,
than
this
the
is
Pocono. This is a narrow racetrack for crazy restarts.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody dives 3 wide at the bottom, they're gonna run out of room because the entry to one's really similar to like a Martinsville where the wall is a little lower than where the corner entry probably is, and I feel like if you get down there, it's gonna be really hard to make the corner.
I took a pace car ride around there, I don't know, a few years ago.
Yeah.
And you're going down that long ass front, and I try to relate it to like Indy car, the Indy 500. Like you're going down this front straightaway, and it looks like you're just making a 90-degree turn when you get to the end of
Didn't
the
we
like,
do that at the same time?
I
Yeah,
don't
we
know. Like
Me and
Yeah,
you,
you were there.
Me and you and Earl did it.
Yeah.
you're just driving down the front straightaway and you're looking at a wall. Like and these guys are doing
Yeah.
it at whatever, like 230 something miles an hour, you know? And you're like, what kind of courage does that take to just, all right, I gotta go down here and hang a left at some point?
Yeah, and they're not out of the throttle.
They're doing the option tire at Richmond. I wish they were doing it here. I think it'd be cool to have it here.
Yeah. Listen, one thing to watch out for, this pit road is always treacherous.
Yeah.
Like there's usually some kind of a stack up, some kind of a wreck. It's
narrow.
It's narrow. It's small boxes.
It's too wide, and if you're on the inside lane and a guy's pulling out, you almost have no choice but to lift. Like you don't have any choice. You're gonna hit.
This is where we were when there was an incident in the very first pit stall where a driver got in too hot and slid through his box and ran over his jackman, and they then backed up where pit road speed started to eliminate that from happening because there's not room for error on this pit road.
Yeah.
Where will you guys
Big
be?
boxes, but narrow.
Where will you guys be spotting from?
I am assuming turn 1 and turn 3, right?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I think majority of us, I think 3 of us will probably be turn 1, I would guess.
Yeah. I've got Reed Sorensen helping me this weekend. Former Xfinity standout Cup Series driver.
You're gonna be in 3.
I'll be at 1, I guess. Where are you going to be?
Oh no, you'll be. Yeah, you're okay.
He's primary guy. He's
he's
still.
primary.
He's still. He's
Reed's
still
not as
primary.
good a spotter as I am. Come on, man.
You just
yeah.
fire
Where
Jesse.
what
That's
I need
why
to
you
know.
were saying next to Larry.
So I wanted Jesse to do it, but he said he would need to train for it, that he's not ready to do an oval like that.
Because of his voice.
Here's the problem with us at Indy is they're coming at us the whole freaking straightaway, and it's hard to see the angles. When we were on the Pagoda, our struggle as a spotter was the trees in the way. honestly, you could see, depending on where you stood, I could see about 75% of the racetrack. And now where you're at, which is where the IndyCar guys stand, it is hard to manage those runs. When they pull out, it's tough to know if they're there.
Yeah.
Where do we park? Anybody know where to park?
I was going to ask you, where do we park?
Usually it's that infield by the.
No, I'm not parking.
If we're in 1 and 3, I'm definitely
If you think
not.
Freddie drove bad trying to get in a Pocono, you just park on the infield, try to get out.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a.
No, that ain't where I'm going.
Heck no.
I'll pay $50 to park in somebody's yard before I do that.
Well, there'll be plenty of
did that.
options.
We've used to do that all the time.
I
Like,
did
all
that the last
time.
couple of years, road courses.
It's common, yeah.
We used to do that at Bristol. Sometimes you could park across the street.
Great place, great town. Like go downtown.
I'll tell you what's really cool is around the racetrack near the IndyCar shops. That's awesome area now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth mentioning that facility, how nice and clean it is. Since Roger bought it,
You don't work for him anymore. You don't got to kiss
that
his
place,
ass.
I'm telling you, when they redid it, we went into them bathrooms
Oh.
on the outside. It was
And he was like there. I remember the first year we went. When did he buy it? During COVID? Was it right?
Yes.
Or,
it was
and,
during COVID because we
and
went there
he was walking
Yeah.
the grounds,
checking it out.
looking like, all right, is everything good? Like it was.
There's so many times we show up and I literally say to myself, y'all could have at least pressure washed the seats where fans are going to sit. At Indy, you don't have to worry about anything
Yeah,
not being
I think
pristine.
it's
it is the most pristine racetrack you'll ever go
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Really. Yeah. You won't find a nicer one.
to. No. But it'll be cool. Big race. We'll have plenty to talk about next week.
Yep.
And then that's it. 2 weeks off after that.
Yeah, we'll have some shows dropping during those off weeks, but yeah, I'm looking forward to a break. I might make my racing return in a couple
What?
weeks. They're having a memorial race for my dad at Riverhead, and I dragged one of his old cars out of the woods, and I might race it.
Have you been working out to get ready for that?
But it's only 9 laps. I
Okay.
think I could do it. it's twin 9-lap features.
Okay.
Probably put
I
my-
can get through the first one, I think, and then
You want to borrow my my cool shirt? You can probably put it on your arm.
yeah, I probably need something.
Wrap
Put
it
it on your arm. Half my body is cool.
My one arm.
But no, it'll be fun. But yep, I guess we'll see everybody in Indy again. Another great week for DBC fans. I saw a bunch of them throughout the
Yeah.
garage and everything. Yelling.
Every time I walk through the tunnel,
yeah,
I ran into fans.
So-
Which
They
was cool.
say TJ sucked usually.
Most of the time it's Freddie and Brett.
that's a lot.
That's what I get too.
No, I'm.
Oh, I
they
definitely
usually
get
say
that.
you don't suck, and then normally, actually, it's more Brett.
I get a
Then you-
lot of
Oh
Brett
yeah,
sucks.
that's accurate. So
Yeah.
Fair. Well, thank y'all so much for listening and have a great week.
We out, Holla.
Word.